Good afternoon, everybody.
Hello, it's Amy and Jeff. Postcard today. How are you?
Well, we're doing pretty good. First, want to say we're not going to do hello in a native language, but we are going to say Happy St. Patrick's Day, Erin Go Bragh.
There you go.
So, for us, being a day ahead of you, we are already well into St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, more than halfway.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
We are going to talk about some places we've been, but before we get there, we have been on a 3-day sail transitioning from the Pacific Ocean down to the Southern Ocean on our way from Fiji to New Zealand.
yes.
And we'll be talking a little bit more about our adventures in New Zealand, starting with
The first day we want to talk about, we were in Gisborne, but that's not what we say it.
yeah, they call it Gisborne.
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 or
Gisborne.
or Gizzies.
Gizzies.
Gizzies are the
For the
folks that live
local.
there. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So we were Gizzies for a day.
Exactly. I don't know if it's my accent or mispronouncing the name of the town, but the locals were going like, "You're not in Australia." And I said, "Okay, how do you say it?" "It's Gisborne."
Gisborne.
Gisborne. So that was kind of funny. I don't know that we ever got it pronounced right.
I
So-
liked Gisborne very much.
So did I.
It was not a large town. The port area was not overly developed, but we could walk around in it. And we did an excursion there. So what does one do in New Zealand?
Go taste wine?
Sounds good to me. Let's do it.
All right. So, on our first wine excursion, we went to 2 different wineries. We did prefer one to the other, and it's
Yeah.
mainly because of the style of wine, but also another mistake that we'll talk about when we get to the other winery. So the first one we went to was Bushmere.
Bushmere. And
Yeah.
boy, were they good at hosts.
Oh, boy.
They put on a beautiful tasting.
Yes.
Um,
Lots of
beautiful big
cheese.
tray with cheese and lamb and prosciutto and
It was
hummus.
first night.
The hummus was good.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And then we finally got around to tasting the wines. And our first wine, was it the Chardonnay?
No, the very first wine we had walking in was a Pinot Gris,
It was,
which,
outside.
if you meet me at the bus with a little glass of wine, I'm in for life. So, they were quick on the draw on that one.
They were.
Yeah. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about their winery. Not real big. These were all small producers.
Yes.
We could buy the wine to take with us, so that was lovely.
Yep.
And we'll talk about the plan they had
Yes.
in a little bit, I guess.
In a little bit. Yep. Once we go through the 2 of them.
Sure.
Or maybe the 2 stops, and we can talk about how it works.
True.
Um,
The Pinot Gris was crisp and light. I'm not a Pinot Gris person. I could be convinced with this one.
I enjoyed it too. So we met our hosts outside while they were preparing the tent for us, and then we went inside for additional tastings. And our first taste inside was the Chardonnay.
Best Chardonnay I've ever had in my life.
I got to tell
Hands
you,
down. Hands down.
I'm not a big Chardonnay fan, but this Chardonnay was pretty incredible. I put it up against a Rombauer.
Absolutely. And for half the price. So,
Yeah.
awesome.
But it had an old world nose. I mean, you got sort of that farmland, hay, grass smell to it.
Complex,
Yeah.
not
good.
overly sweet.
No, and not overly oaked.
Right. It was Goldilocks Chardonnay.
As they put it, it is lightly exposed to toasted oak. And the other interesting thing, it was open fermented right in the barrels outside. So maybe that added a little bit to the uniqueness.
I wonder.
Not sure.
Sure.
Yep.
I was
But,
able to beg a second tasting. when nobody was looking. So
They weren't holding back.
No, they were very generous with them.
They were, and they knew they'd sell more wine
True.
the more
True.
you had.
Yeah.
So that was the fun thing.
They also had, all the assortments, right? They had a rosé, which was fine.
It was fine.
They had an assortment of reds. They had Pinot,
Yes.
which again, for me, it was fine.
Yeah, it was compared to the Pinots we tasted later in this episode we'll talk about.
Mhm.
It was just sort of average, wasn't real bad.
Mhm. I think the star of their vineyards were the whites.
Yes,
We had a really nice Gewurz,
yes indeed.
and Sauvignon Blanc was good, though that's not evidently the area where Sauvignon Blanc is
It does well.
right.
And I kind of agree with that. It was not my favorite Sauvignon Blanc, and
Mhm.
I'll keep my tasting notes to myself.
Wow.
So-
We have a bottle of the Chardonnay right here. So we bought 2 bottles to bring that we're going to keep with us on the boat. So
Yeah.
probably won't make it home. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, so we stuck with the whites from Bushmere. Then our next stop was a place called Monteferro,
Yes.
and they had a lovely tasting room in a farmhouse that went back to late 1700s, early 1800s.
I think so.
Yeah.
It was really had a lot of character. It was a nice big open space where they could accommodate all of us. There was probably 30 people in our bus.
Yes.
The acoustics were a little difficult
Yes.
in there because the ceiling was real high, and I think her voice bounced around a little bit. They, though, had the best cheese
Yeah,
that we've
oh,
had yet.
boy.
So they had a fantastic blue and a Havarti that
Yeah.
we just finally had to ask. Couldn't
Yeah,
tell
couldn't
what it
figure out
was.
what it was.
I will say the New Zealand cheese might be where your money is
Yeah.
because it's up and coming. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess coming to the cheese game was a late development.
Mhm.
We really didn't touch on it in the previous episode, but New Zealand has a very well regulated agricultural development plan where regions where the kiwi fruit really does good, the whole area is dedicated to the kiwi. Then they have a whole dairy area for their dairy products. And I think he said about 15 years ago,
Yeah.
their cheese really started taking off
Mhm.
because they have a lot of mix of people there. People that knew about cheese were starting to come and
From
make
other
better
parts
cheese.
of the world,
Other
right?
parts of the world.
And
yeah.
supposedly their dairy cows have a higher level of milk fat in their milk, so it makes it
Makes it
yummy.
more wonderful.
Makes a yummy cheese.
Yes. So the second place, Monteferro, we did a few tastings there, and it was a mix again of a white, a rosé, and then some reds. And problem with our first tasting, the rosé, it came out like it had been in a freezer.
Was a little too cold.
It was-
yeah.
yeah.
They had to warm it up a little bit. They probably were trying to anticipate when we get there, when it would be the right temperature.
So yeah, she had to wait a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd stick your nose in the glass and get nothing. It was so cold. But once it did warm up, it was very nice. Had a little melony taste,
Yeah.
melon taste to me, and had a very nice soft finish.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mouthfeel on your palate, or
Yeah.
something fancy like that, like a whisper of a tanniny finish.
Did we have a lot of whites there, or was it whites and reds?
White and red. We had.
Okay.
We didn't like the white we had.
We didn't care for it as much. Well, because we had really fallen in love with the place right before. So,
Exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
that's hard.
Yeah. But the again, the Reds didn't seem to do too well in that area that we went to. So we were sort of west of Gisborne
It gives me.
for the first tasting, where they have a lot of slate, shell, these mineral deposits that run down from the mountains in the spring, and it gets distributed over the land, sort of like the Nile does. You know, it floods and leaves all this fresh mineral stuff
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And you could really taste it in both the whites and the reds.
Which I love. I love a little bit of a, you know, not metallic, but mineral. Yeah,
Mineral
yeah.
influence.
I like that. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Ready to move on to the next
Sure.
day?
So that was our first. So that we had 2 winery tastings, but then our bus driver took us to the beach,
Oh, that's right.
and the beach in Gisborne, pretty good.
Yes.
Now it wasn't crowded because again it's
End of season.
coming into autumn, and I suppose the water's a little cooler. Beautiful beach. Really only saw a few people on it.
Yes.
Little dog. We saw a surfer out in the
Well,
water.
He was a pretend surfer.
He was.
He sat there and let every nice wave. He just
Uh-huh.
rode over the top and it just curled beautifully.
Uh-huh.
And then every time he tried to get up on a wave, he got swamped.
Well,
So
you got
he
to
might have
start
been new.
somewhere.
He might be new to the
Yeah,
sport.
exactly.
So didn't get any good photos of him up on the board.
Beautiful beach, though. We didn't really get to walk down to the beach. We just had to watch it from on top of a
Lookout.
dune. Yeah, kind of a lookout. And then we piled back on the bus, and the bus driver took us up to a
Mountaintop
a
overview.
lookout, and it was Titrangi Reserve. I looked it up.
Okay.
So, fantastic views. I mean, we must have been at one of the highest points around Gisborne. We could actually see our boat way off in the distance, so that was pretty cool. Though it only took us probably 20 minutes to drive down the hill and get
Yeah.
right to the... Well, that was the day we were on tenders, though, too, right? On Gisborne. Yeah, we had to ride those tenders.
And it was a long ride.
The tender ride was real long.
Yeah.
Because I think the water around Gisborne is pretty shallow. The water was so pretty green. It was very turquoise, and so that means shallow water,
Yes.
supposedly.
Supposedly, that's what we've been told.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So then, we got on the boat, did our regular evening, and the next morning we had to sky up.
Oh,
And-
yeah.
And
Get
we
up
had
early.
we had to be one of the very first people off the bus. We needed to be back off the boat. We had to be back on the boat by noon
For a private tour.
for a private tour that Alabama Livet had arranged. And
So why did you wake me up so early?
what do you
Make me
mean?
run all over town.
Well, you might recall from a few weeks ago that somebody's dive computer broke, right?
Yep.
After using it twice. So I had been going back and forth with Shearwater, who's the manufacturer of my dive.
Representative.
hmm And told them, they asked where I'd be when, and they said they had a little shop in Wellington, New Zealand, and could I bring it there? Well, sure, I said I can bring it there. So, to get off the port at Wellington, we had to get on a shuttle bus, and the shuttle bus took us downtown. And then from there, we jumped in Uber and went to the shop.
It's amazing. Uber worked there too.
It did, and it worked well. Carlos was our Uber driver. He was from Peru. No, Chile.
Chile.
Yes. And so it was a bit of a ways out there. It was probably a good half hour or 20
Well,
minutes.
it wasn't far.
Mhm.
It was like maybe 4 miles, but with the morning traffic.
Yeah, and the
it's quite
twisty
busy.
turns and
Oh yeah, boy. The hills in Porto are very much comparable. We weren't
Or
walking
San
up them.
Francisco,
Or
yeah.
San Francisco. Some of the areas did remind me a little bit of San Francisco.
it did. Yeah.
With the little row houses and,
Mhm.
and things. But we made it to
To-
the other side of the town where no one else visited.
Absolutely. And we went to some regular parts of the town, so we got to see a little bit of the housing. I felt like, very few two-story houses. They seem all to be one story.
Well, I would disagree.
Okay.
The ones that are on the hills were multi-story.
Yes, but the ones
they
in the
were all-
flat, yeah.
Oh, the flatlands, yes.
And there were a bit of gingerbread. on the house quite a bit.
Yeah, again, they had that sort of, not quite Victorian, but
Yes.
nice little touches with the clapboard siding and things like that. So that was enjoyable. And, I mean, that was just an in and out. I mean,
Yeah.
20 minutes to get there, 20 minutes for Amy, and I have her on a clock. I'm going, you got 1 minute.
Yeah.
And the guy's sitting there.
Our next Uber driver to take us back.
Yeah.
So I find the spot, and I had lost Jeff somewhere because we were kind of in a maze. It was a bit of an amazing race thing going on. I found the shop, and I'm standing in the doorway because I want Jeff to be able to see me. And he wants me to come over to the computer so I can give him information. And but my husband's out there. I can't lose him.
I can find my way around
I
pretty
guess.
good.
But so then his assistant went out and
Was looking
and looked
for me.
for. Yes. So in the
So
meantime,
I'm walking through the parking lot. She goes, Jeff, over here. I'm looking at this woman. I go, I don't know you. Amy's inside.
she's at me for you. So he asked me about the computer. He asked me what the error message was that I had. He knew just how to fix it. And he said, so when do you want to pick it up? And I said, oh no,
Never gonna
we're
be here
gone.
again.
We're gone at 5, and and it took us a long time to be here. Do you do it now, or what?
Right.
He says, well, where can I mail it? I said, okay, I guess just mail it to my house in the
Yep.
U.S. And he said, oh, okay, fine. So he gets my address, and then he says to me, do you want a loaner?
Say yeah.
Of course I want a loaner. So
when we get the Amy's original computer back, there'll be a thing in there to stuff the loaner in and send it back to New Zealand.
So yes, it's almost exactly like the one I had. So this was Rob at the Shearwater place. Loved him. Very nice. Let me know that it could be fixed under warranty. Fantastic. And I just mail back the other one when I'm done. So we jumped back in the Uber, and
We made it to the boat with 5 minutes to spare.
exactly
And all we really had to do was go up and grab our stuff
for the
for the rest of the day.
yes,
So everything worked out. The
good clean.
we ended
lemon.
up being 7 minutes late.
Yeah, we were
Um,
close.
We were close.
Yes.
But the bus driver was fine.
Yeah,
Our new
it
tour
was
guide, Simon.
Simon. Yeah.
And he specialized in the region we're going to talk about because he happens to live out that way as well.
Yes.
And
He was very knowledgeable in a number of areas.
yes,
So Alabama and Linda had arranged a private tour with the bus, with a little van driver, and he was going to take us about an hour and a half outside of Wellington, and we were going to go to 3 different wineries.
yes.
So
So we went over a big mountain getting out there.
Yes.
So on this particular day, we were heading east into the mountains.
yes,
And went down the other side into a region called. Dun, dun, dun. Oh,
it's
wait.
not on that one. Huh?
No, it is. Yes, here it is. Martinborough.
That's right, Martinborough.
Yes.
You want to talk about a cutie town?
Oh,
If I am moving to New Zealand someday, I think Martinborough would be the place to live. Lots of wineries, cute town, very walkable,
Yes.
little cutie downtown area, not unlike our hometown.
and
So,
for book lovers,
yes,
it is the used bookstore capital for
they have
the
a
North
festival.
Allen. They have a whole festival.
I bet there's wine at the festival.
I'm sure there is, but the focus is on books.
That's true. Yes.
And I must have counted at least 6 or 7 used
bookstore.
bookstores in a town of 35,000?
Yeah, awesome. Loved
Yep.
it. Yeah. So, yes, he drove us out there an hour and a half. He knew a lot about the native culture
Yep.
and told us a lot of things. I don't know that I can remember much of it to say. Just
That'd be an episode in itself.
that's true.
So Simon, our driver, moved out of the big city of Wellington, went to this Martinborough because the lifestyle was a little more relaxed, and so he had a college education, a higher degree in college, focused a lot on history, and then he spent a year immersed in a Maori school, where he got pretty good command of the language, the customs, and the legends and mythology.
Mhm.
So we did have a good discussion on the way out about how the Pacific Island people, their range stretched all the way from the west coast of Chile to South America.
Incredible.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
found evidence of trinkets, artwork,
And legends
pottery.
that are similar.
Yeah.
And then also DNA evidence.
Yes,
Because they could, now that we have that technology, they're able to see deep DNA that connects all
connects
these
these
folks.
people. Yeah,
It's really exciting. Yeah.
yes indeed. Okay, on to the wine.
Under the wine. So, yes. The first place we went, we were the only ones in there.
Yes,
Gotta love a tasting when nobody's there. No snacks, though.
no snacks.
No snacks.
No, it was in and out. They were, again, it was harvest time.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
all the other employees were out picking grapes. And because we had scheduled this woman that served us was happy not to be in the field
yeah.
working.
And she got to read her book all day.
Yes. So they had a great sign out front that said, "Open daily usually." And that was all it said.
Yeah. If they're not there, they're not there. Come
They're
and get
not
tomorrow.
But our first tasting was very interesting. In this region, the reds do better, and they harken their styles back to Bordeaux styles.
Yeah.
So there was Syrah, there was Merlot, and there was Pinot.
That's a Pinot.
And so these reds were definitely better than the area
Yeah.
we were in the day before.
But completely different soil, hours and hours away. So, yeah. We did buy a couple bottles there. We drank one at dinner the other night, and it was fantastic. So I think we're going to get more of that.
Yes.
But we also have a bottle right here of the Pinot, which we liked very much. So, how is it we're able to buy this wine later? She asked.
Ah, well, they have a really slick deal. So we ended up visiting 5 vineyards in the 2 days.
Mhm.
And 4 of them participate in this program where the shipper has supplies from each of the vineyards. And so you could fill a 9-bottle case.
Or
say-
15.
Well, hadn't got there yet.
Sorry.
But that's okay. Or a 15. You could have up to 15 different bottles of wine from different places.
Yeah.
3 or whatever to get to the combination.
Mhm.
And at 15 bottle case, they're almost giving you the wine.
Well, the price on the internet in
Includes-
your currency,
Taxes, shipping,
duty,
duty, and the wine.
and I think insurance on it.
Maybe. Somebody would have to have that.
Yeah. So it's a no-brainer. We just bought what we thought we would like to enjoy on the boat.
We'll sample it,
Yeah.
make sure we like it,
And
and we're going
then-
to be able to order.
It'll be there waiting when we get home.
Yeah.
And next year, if we wanted to buy it again, we
Well,
can
you
do it
can.
again.
Yep.
So, yes.
Sort of like having a wine club without
Yeah.
joining a wine club.
Yeah, without the minimums and such.
Right.
Yeah. So if you're lucky enough to get invited to our house and we invite you to try some of our New Zealand wine.
Yeah, or you
Maybe
should
we can-
remind us if we haven't drank it all.
Well, there's that.
So at Schubert's, our first stop,
Mhm.
we tried 2 different Pinots from different blocks on the farm. Each of them was very good. We preferred the second one. Okay. I don't know if that's the bottle we showed you.
Yeah.
So we'll probably order some of that. They had one bottle they called their Bordeaux blend that was Syrah, Merlot, and Pinot Noir. But it was a 2018, and they don't ship that one.
They
There's-
don't?
No.
Oh.
There's very few left.
Oh.
So that's the bottle we bought and took a chance on at dinner.
I was hoping to buy a bunch of that.
Nope.
Well,
I hate to disappoint you, but I don't think it's on there. The
All
other
right.
one's on.
Okay.
Okay. How about stop number 2?
Stop number 2 was designed to be our lunch stop.
Yes, it was.
And it was kind of unusual the way they do their tastings. You pick out what you want for lunch, and they just bring you wine.
They bring you wines that pair well with what you got.
Mm-hmm.
So we ordered 5 things. It's all served family style. So the 4 of us got to pick and choose. We
Yeah.
had braised lamb. And
And
for somebody that doesn't eat lamb,
it was good.
it was good, wasn't
It was good. What else did we have? We had gnocchi and a tomato salad and
You had 2 entrees.
pork belly.
Pork belly. Oh,
Yeah, it
pork
was
belly
good.
and rosé work pretty good together.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
And speaking of the rosé, this was the rosé we had with the early courses with our
And their label is a cutie little kiwi. So,
kiwi bird,
yeah,
sort of,
I think so.
but also dressed as a
Cartoon.
dancer.
He's cartoony.
Yeah, she is. She's
Oh,
a
she
ballerina.
is. Oh, that's true. Yes.
So they called this Young Vine
Young
rosé, and it was quite
tongue
tasty.
in cheek there.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got a couple things from them.
Hmm.
Finished our lunch, and then
And
we
again,
went.
we can order from them again if we
Yeah.
want to. Yeah.
And then our last stop of the day, which I thought was the best,
Yeah.
and this is the guy, of the 5 places we went, he doesn't participate
Yeah.
with this shipper. And that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
So he was red and all red. He was into reds.
Yes.
And so we did 2 Pinots, a blend,
Mhm.
and then a fortified
Yes.
wine made with Pinot.
Yes.
And each one was very, very good. So of the 2 Pinots, or wait, was it 3 Pinots?
I think it might have been.
I think it was 3 Pinots. So he had one that was good, the other one in the middle we liked a lot, the second one. The third one, he says, you can't beat this one for your 3rd bottle of wine. I said, I don't know, this might be my 2nd. I'll find something else. for
He
the
knows
3rd.
us so well.
Oh,
That
sheesh.
we're always shopping for that 3rd bottle to serve.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he was the most entertaining fella.
and very knowledgeable.
Yes.
He had taken over the vineyard from his father,
Yeah.
and he was, well, like you said, he was very knowledgeable. And, you know, he'd tell you that most of the wines you could drink today, and the 3 Pinots, you know, you could say
5
you could
years.
lay them down 5 to 10 years,
But then enjoy him.
and then enjoy them, yeah.
Yeah.
Says, well, he used screw tops.
Yeah.
And his feeling was screw tops good for about 10 years.
Okay.
So
It's a good rule of thumb, I suppose.
I liked it.
Yeah.
And the best thing is we have some of those for tasting,
Yeah.
so we can open them because the onboard wine opener is just a piece of crap.
Yeah,
It starts
we're
bending.
shopping for a new
Yes.
cork. Yeah,
Oh, we never even said the
corkscrew.
name.
Yeah, so this is
We're at Merle
Merle
Rise
Mhm.
was the one the guy did the reds. This was his what he called his 3rd bottle.
Yes.
Which in our mind
Was
we
pretty
would
good.
have right
Yeah.
after the middle Pinot.
Yeah.
And
You couldn't not buy from him because he was so funny
Yeah.
and fun. You know, he teased us and told us jokes. And, yeah. we liked it.
so this guy practices non-irrigation for
Oh.
his wines,
Mhm.
and he says it's good for the Pinots to really struggle and survive, to get the roots down deep and all. And but that was his one of the things he did was non-irrigation.
Ah. Well, that's kind of old school, isn't it?
Yeah, you take what raindrops give you.
Exactly.
What was that? The tears of God.
Tears of God.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
And that kind of rounded out today.
Yeah, I know. It's a kind of a wine episode, so.
Yes. I took a nap on the way back.
Well, it was an hour and a half, so yeah. And then we got back and
Just another night on the boat.
another night on the boat. You did okay in trivia, or last night?
So once we got to the boat, there was a forecast of a huge squall coming.
Yes.
And they said 5 o'clock, and you could see the clouds massing on the horizon. And by 5:30, the ship was starting to toss.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, we had 14.4 foot waves.
Yeah.
You could see the bow going up if you're in the front, or if you're in back having dinner.
Yeah.
It seemed like the whole boat was going to dip into the water.
I did okay as long as I'm up on a higher deck. Trivia is played on the 5th floor. I'm getting a little queasy by the end of the trivia. But luckily dinner and our room is pretty high. If all else fails, just lay down on the bed and just kind of rock with the waves. And
That was our good night. We got 16 out of 16 questions.
oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, now we're on a 3 sea day leg. So we're trying to get to our next port o' call.
Yeah, for the last 2 days, you weren't allowed outside on the deck. Had to keep our doors locked.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
there was so much spray and rain coming in,
Yeah.
you didn't want to step outside anyway. And it was cold. It was in the 50s during the storm.
Yeah, it was. It was too cool to be outside, really.
Yeah.
And that's why we filmed inside at the last episode.
All dark and
I
gloomy.
know.
Ugh.
Yeah. This is much better, I think. Even though it's a little chilly, but we're good.
Oh,
Boy.
anyway, that's kind of about it. So
Yeah.
today we're allowed outside. The waters are relatively calm, and
In comparison.
yeah. So unbeknownst to us, the Tasman Sea that we're in now is notorious for storms and rough waves.
Yeah.
So we kind of survived that. We did run into a couple on our very first storm. First time they've ever been on a boat, and they're going like, I'm never doing this again. I wonder what they're thinking now after the last 3 days.
Well, and then somebody was telling me last night, I think it was one of our trivia guys, that he met somebody that got on an airplane in Wellington and flew to
Sydney to avoid
or
the
to our,
crossing.
our next place. Yes, just to avoid this.
Yes.
So he's going to get back on the boat there. So that's our core.
That's boy, it is.
So I guess the only thing left to say is our postcard today.
Oh, and who gets the postcard today, Amy?
It goes to our good friends Mike and Michelle in Maryland.
Wow.
Who, what? Yes.
Are we repeating the list?
No, you said Mike and Michelle before, but that one
I
was
was
Rich and
wrong.
Sue.
Yes.
Now this one's Mike and Michelle.
Okay.
Yes. So Rich and Sue, obviously, you're more important to us than Mike and Michelle because your card came first.
Well, it's in the order they signed up.
That's what it was.
Yes.
We don't love anyone more than anybody else.
I
Absolutely
agree.
not.
We
Yes.
have no favorites.
Do send us an email so you can
Yeah.
get on our list. Maybe put your address in there with it. That helps me just a little. I don't have everybody's address in the world.
Yeah.
Um,
And you are allowed to sign up twice.
oh, sure.
Yeah,
I don't care. We got lots of days left.
we do.
We should count how many days we got. We've been gone a month.
Yep.
We've been on the cruise a month today because we got on the 19th. Or was
Right.
it the 21st?
No,
No,
we
it
got
was
on
on
the
19th.
19th.
So today is our 1 month anniversary of boating.
Yeah, we had an extra long February,
Yes,
but
and
then we lost today.
We lost today. So
Yes.
yes, it absolutely is a month.
So yeah, we're like 18, 19 hours ahead of you guys.
Every time I have it figured out, they change the clocks, either there or here.
Well,
So
we're going to
weird.
lose one more hour, I think, when we get to Australia.
Okay,
And then we'll be good for a while.
yeah, and that's where we're going next.
Yes. Sydney.
Is,
Well, we're going to Burnie, Australia.
Actually,
Which is
Tasmania.
it's on Tasmania.
Yes,
But
yes.
That is part of Australia.
So we'll be on the lookout for devils.
There you go.
Yeah,
Little Tasmanian devils.
absolutely.
Okay,
Okay,
that's it.
that's all we got for today.
Bye, folks.
See you soon
I'm going to have a Guinness today,
for
or
St.
two,
Patrick's Day.
for our happy hour.
No Guinness for me, but
Okay. Shot of whiskey and a shotgun shell.
I like that.
Sounds good. All right,
Okay.
folks. Bye-bye.